Media. 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 Let's talk about the word media. In English, media is typically used as a plural noun, but it can also function as a singular noun in some contexts. Commonly, people use it to refer to all forms of communication and information dissemination, such as newspapers, magazines, radio, television, internet, and social media. For example, the company invests heavily in various media to reach its target audience. When used in this way, the word media generally takes a plural verb form. However, when referring specifically to a single medium or platform, like a newspaper or a particular website, it can function as a singular noun and take a singular verb form. As in, the New York Times is one of the most widely read media. The professor began her lecture by discussing the various forms of media that are shaping our perception of reality, saying, in today's society, traditional media such as newspapers and television are being challenged by new digital media platforms like social media and online news outlets. This formal usage sets the tone for a more structured and informative discussion. In contrast, while chatting with friends at lunch, you might say, I'm so tired of scrolling through social media after work. I need to find some better ways to relax. This casual conversation usage reflects a more relaxed and informal atmosphere. On the other hand, in a business meeting, someone might suggest we should consider investing in a new media campaign to reach our target audience and boost sales. This business or academic usage implies a level of professionalism and potential investment. So you want to know what media refers to? Well, in simple terms, it's any form of communication that reaches a wide audience, such as news, entertainment, and information. Think about all the ways people consume content through their phones, tablets, TVs, or computers, and that's basically what we're talking about. The main characteristics are that it's a way to share information, stories, or ideas with many people at once, often using images, sounds, or words. If you think of things like newspapers, magazines, books, movies, TV shows, podcasts, online articles, and even social posts, they all fall under this category. So, in short, it's a means to disseminate information, news, or content to the public on a large scale. Mode. 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 So, let's talk about the word mode. The part of speech for mode is primarily a noun, but it can also be used as an adjective in certain contexts. In general, when we say mode, we're referring to a particular way or method of doing something, like a mode of transportation or a mode of communication. Common usage includes talking about the different ways you can travel, for example, I'm using public mode today, or the various ways people express themselves in art and design. One special note is that when we use mode as an adjective, it often implies a style or a way of being, like saying, she's in party mode. But if you're not sure whether to use mode as a noun or an adjective, just remember, when it's describing something, it's likely an adjective. When it's the thing itself, it's probably a noun. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word mode with different contexts. In a formal setting such as a university lecture hall, a professor might say, the instructor emphasized that it's essential to understand the teaching mode used in this course, so students can effectively participate and grasp the material. Here, The context is academic and the word mode refers to the instructional method or approach. In a casual conversation with friends, someone might say, "I'm totally in relaxation mode after that exhausting weekend. I just want to chill on the couch all day." In this context, the word mode refers to a specific mental or emotional state, which is relaxed and unwinding. The tone is informal and conversational. In a business setting, such as a meeting with colleagues discussing marketing strategies, someone might say, "We need to switch to data analysis mode for the next quarter. Let's review our sales figures and plan accordingly." In this context, the word mode refers to a specific operational or analytical state, which is focused on examining data to make informed decisions. The tone is professional and task-oriented. So, you want to know about that common way of doing something? Well, think of it as a habitual pattern or a usual way that people behave, especially when they're using technology like phones or computers. It's like how we often set up our devices with certain settings or features that are familiar and comfortable for us. When people talk about this concept, they might mention things like default or usual behavior. But the idea is that it's a kind of autopilot setting that helps us navigate through life with ease and efficiency. Does that make sense? Paradigm. 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 So, let's talk about the word paradigm. A paradigm is actually a noun, which means it's a person, place, thing, or idea in itself. In common usage, a paradigm refers to a model or framework that guides how we think, work, or behave within a particular field or context. For example, you might talk about the scientific paradigm, which would be the set of principles and theories that scientists use to explain natural phenomena. The word paradigm can also imply a new or alternative way of thinking, as in, the company's shift to sustainable practices marked a paradigm change in their business strategy. What's interesting is that while we often associate this word with big, abstract concepts, it was actually first used by Thomas Kuhn, an American philosopher and historian of science. In the context of scientific revolutions, he argued that paradigms are not just theoretical frameworks but actual ways of understanding the world, which can change over time as new knowledge and perspectives emerge. In a formal setting, such as a university lecture, you might hear, "The professor explained that the new findings in quantum physics challenged the long-standing paradigm of particle behavior, forcing scientists to re-examine their understanding of matter at the atomic level." Here, the context is an educational setting where complex scientific concepts are being discussed, and using the word paradigm adds a sense of authority and academic rigor. In contrast, during a casual conversation with a friend who's interested in philosophy, you might hear, "I'm trying to get my head around this whole existentialism thing, but it feels like a paradigm shift from the way I used to think about life." In this context, paradigm is being used informally to describe a fundamental change in perspective or outlook, much like how we use it in everyday conversation to talk about changes in technology or society. In a business setting, such as a company meeting discussing innovation and strategy, you might hear, "If we can successfully integrate AI into our manufacturing process, it could represent a paradigm shift for our industry, allowing us to stay competitive and ahead of the curve." Here, paradigm is used in a more practical way to describe a significant change that has broad implications, emphasizing its potential impact on the company's future prospects. So, you want to know about this concept that's like a framework for understanding something? It's basically an overarching perspective or way of thinking that influences how people see and interact with their world. Think of it like a big lens through which we view things. Everything looks different from one point of view than another. The main characteristics of this idea are that it's a way of looking at the world. It shapes our understanding and decisions. And it can change over time as new information or experiences come along. Some people might call similar concepts like a perspective or a mindset. But in general, this framework is all about how we see and make sense of things. It's used in many areas, such as science, philosophy, business, and even personal development, to help us understand complex systems and relationships, and to inform our decisions and actions.